Alright, y'all can hear me? It's some stuff. Alright, so I'm here actually earlier than I expected. You guys can hear me. Stop saying muted. I know you guys can hear me. Alright, little bit earlier than expected. Obviously, initially, stream was scheduled for when? 7 p.m. EST. Then my car had... Okay, so the issue is unknown at the moment because it has to do with my car's tires. So I'd take it naturally to a car shop. The reason I'm here early, I thought it would be an hour. I'm here early is because they told me that they don't fix tires. Okay? They tried, but they said you might need a replacement tire. I was like, great. Well, this is a car mechanic shop. What better place in the world to get a replacement tire than from you guys, whose sole purpose is to fix cars? They said, no, we don't do that. You need to go to a tire shop. Turns out that car shops and tire shops are two totally different things. Keep in mind, like, at least in my past experience, I've always been able to get my... Back where I used to live, I was always able to get... I would just go to the same shop, so I could always get my car stuff done at the same place. If I needed a new tire, needed a tire repaired, anything I needed, oil change, blah, 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 all of the stuff, all of the usual stuff, engine, blah, 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 you could always get it from the same place. Actually, everywhere I've... This is the first time I'm learning, I guess... Maybe I was just lucky before, but this is the first time I'm learning that you need different places. I just don't get it. Like, what's the point? Different places for your tire stuff and your car stuff. So I was able to bring it back, but God knows if the tire will be fine to drive over to the tire shop. I don't know. Goodyear has both. All right, I'll check it out. I mean, the thing is, like, I kind of came to trust, I guess, smaller local auto shops more, but I guess that's just not smart. Maybe I just go for, tried and true, businesses like, you know what I'm talking about, Goodyear and stuff like that. Maybe that's just the way. All right, let me catch up on any supers I might have missed. Sorry to start the stream off on such a negative note when we had such an excellent chapter to work with. But, yeah, it's just the way it is. All right, let's focus on 1059, because that chapter was really, really good. I think that chapter is much better than the auto shop that I just went to. Andrew McCarthy said, according to 1057, in Viz, Kaido and Big Mom are dead. Is this true? Because somebody said this earlier, and I, literally didn't believe it. I saw people saying that at some point in chat earlier, and I didn't believe it, so I just skimmed straight past it, because it just made no sense to me. Let's check 1057. All right. Also, Gorosei versus Warlords, CP0 versus Revolutionaries, Dragon versus Imu, Dragon loses. All right, so that's just a bunch of stuff. I don't know. Why would the Gorosei versus the Warlords, CP0 versus Revolutionaries? CP0 versus Revolutionary makes sense. All right, let's take a look at 1057. That's where the juicy stuff is at, right? So we're going to look at One Piece chapter 1057. Other reason I'm upset, you know what I have? I have a monitor. I got a monitor, but I didn't have time to set it up because I got here late. Why? Because the auto shop doesn't fix tires when you would expect that to be one of the most common things for an auto shop to do. All right, anyway, let's take a look at 1057. Wait, let me just check the other super real quick first. John Ross said, wow, the Stride Alliance is stacked. At this rate, the Marines will fold. Oda says, screw it, the Marines have indestructible fire god, cyborg, angel, child soldiers, cloned from the DNA of some of the strongest people on Earth. Yeah, that's actually a heavy focus of my video tomorrow. The Seraphim basically changed everything. It's a great addition by Oda. All right, so seamless transition to to desktop display. All right, did we do it? Seamless transition accomplished. Wait, silly me, I forgot we need chat, right? We need chat to go with us. If we don't have the chat, then it's just me. It's just gonna be me talking to myself. It'll be very, very weird. J.K. Kane says, do you think Shaki is Boa's biological mother? No. Sorry, I don't have a more extensive answer than that. I just don't think that that's the case. It's just, there's just nothing about their dynamic that we've seen so far that indicates to me that she would be her mother. Like, maybe she is, but there's just nothing so far that indicates to me that would be the case. The JM Lou 11 says, hey Morj, thanks for the great content as always. Yep, thank you. What do you think of the world government having a Roger Seraph given that they had him captured? Oh man. At the moment, I'm just not going to try and dive down a whole rabbit hole of possibilities. in terms of what the world government may or may not have Seraphim-wise, but a Roger Seraphim would be insane. It would be something else. It's just like either Oda is going for, okay, it's the Shichibukai, right? Like, that's the ones that they had cloned and everything like that because they're dirty pirates or whatever that they had under their control that should have been working for them anyway, so let's use them as our, as our guinea pigs, basically. Or the whole door is blown wide open with world government having admirals and then seraphims of admirals and then seraphims of Garp and seraphims of Sengoku, seraphims of Roger, seraphims of Whitebeard. I don't know. Alito5 says, thank you for being early, Mr. Mank. I am kind of, I don't know. So I asked the editor basically, like, can you change the time? Because I can't change the time. I don't know what he changed the time to, but it's nice to see that I'm earlier than whatever the time was changed to. Thank you for being early, Mr. Mank. Did you notice that chapter 1057 had a theme of subordinates clashing with leaders? Why are we talking about 1057? Oh, Nami, Luffy, Buggy, Croc, Dragon, Sabo. Oh, I see what you're saying. I think was that 1057 or was that was 1058, I'm pretty sure, right? That was 1058 with, I know what you're talking about, but I'm pretty sure that was 1058. I think that I thought that the Luffy Nami parallel and the Buggy Croc parallel was very clear, right? Dragon Sabo, maybe because it's played in less of a comical light than the other two, maybe I didn't think that was a direct parallel, but you're right, there might just be a parallel there too. Caleb Brown says, if Seraphim Kaido exists, then ZKK isn't dead. If Seraphim Kaido exists, how are they going to get to him? No, I mean, like, they were doing experiments on him and shit, so yeah, maybe Seraphim Kaido does exist. That'd be wild if Oda just it's just Naruto again. I mean, but I would like it. Like, that's not to say I wouldn't like it. I don't think there's anything wrong with bringing back all these strong characters, but just in cyborg mode, basically. But it is very Naruto-esque, right? Ito Tensei versus Seraphim stuff, very similar, right? Mr. Bushido says, by 1061, Carrot will join the crew. By 1061? Do you have spoilers on spoilers? You have 2 weeks. How far is your future site going? How do you have spoilers from 2 weeks ahead? Disaster Master says, Seraphim will make Marines obsolete and might force them to turn against world government. I don't think they're that hot. I don't think the Seraphim are replacing, like, Akainu and Kizaru and Fujitora, as far as we know. All right, let's take a look. So what we've been told is that somewhere in this chapter 1057, it is established that Kaido and Big Mom are dead. And I, your humble narrator, where is this? I don't know why I thought it would be fun for me to just find it myself. I don't want to have to search for it. Can somebody tell me? What page does it say Kaido and Big Mom are dead? Who says they're dead? Is it this dude? Is it this dude? Yo, and I, your humble narrator, will attempt to do justice to the tale. This narrator makes the Wano. He does do justice to. Slow down a second. This narrator most certainly does do justice to the tale. I still didn't say it right. I slowed down so hard. All right, everybody say it with me together. This narrator does do justice to the tale. He does it too well, in fact. He does a bit extra justice because he makes the Battle of Onigashima sound like 1,000,000 times better than it actually was, in my opinion. Like, the way he described it, it's like, damn. That sounds like an exciting fucking story. That sounds like the greatest thing I'll ever read. But let's get to the narrator's explanation. Who should come to cut the beast in twain but the second of Kazuki Oden's faithful followers, Denjiro? And just like the black coal of his family name, the final head of Kurozumi Orochi burned to a crisp, he just made the execution of Orochi sound 1,000,000 times more badass and memorable and iconic than it actually was. Who should come to cut the beast in twain? The second of Kazuki Oden's faithful followers, Denjiro. Is that how was that the swell of emotion we all felt while we were reading that page of Denjiro coming in and stealing Hiyori's kill and just chopping his head off in the middle of a chapter with much more interesting shit going on? All right, Disaster Master. Oh, yep, we covered this. Oh, did I miss a super? Already? I didn't miss a super already. I never miss supers. That's my special power. Disaster Master says, what if they make Admiral Seraphim, though? It would be crazy. You're just doubling up on all the admirals then. What if we get an Aokiji Seraphim? I just don't think that they would have Seraphims of people that are already working for them. Just because, not because logically it wouldn't make sense, but rather just storytelling-wise, would Oda double up on that? He'd be like, you have to fight Akainu, and this Akainu Seraphim, which is like probably a slightly weaker Akainu. I don't know. Because the Seraphim are just like, as far as we know, mindless creatures or whatever, so it's not like you're getting any extra character stuff to work with when you're adding a Seraphim. You're just adding in more antagonists, basically, like, so just video game bosses to fight. At least that's what it looks like so far. So if that's the case, I just don't know if Oda would double up and be like, they fight 2 Akainus and 2 Kizarus and like 2 Green Bulls. Maybe 2 Fujitoras, because Fujitora might be a defector by the end of the day. Cameron Cowan says, you should check out Young Usopp's Chap songs on YouTube. I don't know what that means. Young Usopp's Chap? You mean channel? Should I check out his channel? I don't know what I should check out. Balsam Fur says, who do you think Blackbeard wants to give Boa's fruit to? I don't know. Wouldn't it have to be someone pretty beautiful so that the effects work? If he could give Katarina Devon, this was discussed previous stream. If Blackbeard could give Katarina Devon the fruit, right? If he could give her the fruit and she gets to retain her existing fruit, so if she's somehow able to eat 2 devil fruits at once as well, if Blackbeard has some method of allowing his subordinates to be able to do that, then she's broken, right? Because she can transform into anyone. So it would arguably be more broken in her hands than in even Hancock's, because she could transform into whoever the viewer finds attractive no matter what. Whereas Hancock's ability might not work on certain people. Like, Katarina Devon's gonna find somebody that the person's attracted to, right? So it's just like, it's a thing. Power Vision's here, he says, lol, what a shitty power. I don't know what the context for that is. Brandon King says, you think Weevil is a prototype or failed Whitebeard Seraphim? Oh, that's such an interesting idea. Big round of applause to Brandon King. Everyone, applause to Brandon King. Because we're all like, where the fuck did this dude come from? Why is he so strong? That'd be interesting. Escaped broken Seraphim. All right. Lord Nagaviper says, yo, Morj, sorry about the car. Thank you. Do you have thoughts on Weevil plus Dofi plus Moria appearing next chapter to round out updates on all Warlords? Because that is kind of the direction that we're kind of going. It would be really, really exciting if that's the case. If we get a Doflamingo chapter, that's amazing. If we get Weevil and Moria sprinkled in as well, that's just cherries on top, right? Arvind Sivasalim says, do you think Seraphims being chibi Lunarian warlords mean that the Lunarians were anti-world government? Seraphims being chibi Lunarian warlords mean that the Lunarians were anti-world government. Oh yeah, most certainly. I actually put out a full video talking about I don't know what the video is called. It covered the Onis, the Lunarians. It covered all these secret races that were seemingly missing and what they might have in common. And I 100% my going theory for the longest time and still right now is the Lunarians were the original, because they were called gods, right? Like a species of gods or whatever. So they were gods before the world government took them down and replaced them as the new gods, and they lived on top of the red line, which the world government wanted to live on, stuff like that. So I believe that Lunarians are probably some of the first groups that the world government took down initially. Gorosei wouldn't approve of the design if they were ancestors. Yeah. Big Bro Cook says, biblically there are 7 Seraphim. Okay, so 7 Warlords plus Oda thinks 7 is a cool number. I'm 100% on board with that. I don't think we need more Seraphim than what we're getting, personally. Because I think it's exciting as a concept just because it fulfills it answers that question that we always had, which was, what if the Shichibukai actually tried during Marineford? What if the Shichibukai actually wanted to fight on the world government side? What if the Shichibukai weren't just delinquents and hooligans, right? That's what it answers. Like, what if the world government actually could use the Shichibukai? And that's an exciting question to answer. I don't think it's sort of answering a question that was already there in the story, the hypothetical that's already there, which is like, what if the Shichibukai, which are supposed to be working with the world government, actually do it? I don't think, once you get in the territory of, what if the world government also had, clones of each admiral, clones of Garp, Sengoku, things like that, I think that's entering territory where it's maybe it's just adding shit to add it. I don't know. I'm very satisfied with just the concept that we're getting 7 super strong characters. It just seems cool to me. Kid Smithy94 says, between Seraphim cloning and Devil Fruit cloning, the world government could mix and match powers with characters. Seraphim cloning and Devil Fruit cloning, the world government could... Yeah, that'd be cool. So, like a Boa Hancock with Doflamingo strings or something like that. They all get Kizaru lasers. So Kizaru's just he's just the... They're all in a way budget Kizarus, right? But then they also get all these other goodies. So, what if you got Mihawk with, sand powers or something like that? Or what's the most fun combination you could get? Most fun combination you could get... What if you had, Moria with Hancock's fruit, and he's just basically useless, and he can't turn anyone to stone? And then they kick him out of the Shichibukai again. That would be funny. So what's the most effective? I mean, I feel like they're all really effective as is. I think most effective would just be if you gave Mihawk a Devil Fruit. If you gave Mihawk if you gave Mihawk Doflamingo's fruit, because Mihawk's already the best at cutting things, right? So what if you gave him a fruit that's specifically made to cut things? I think Mihawk with Doflamingo's fruit would be something else. Unless you're thinking like Mihawk's already got the cutting stuff pretty much down, he doesn't need any buffs in that department, then maybe like Mihawk and Kuma's fruit or something. I don't know. I feel like Oda's not going to mix and match abilities too much. I think it's just, from what we've seen, Mihawk was just doing normal Mihawk stuff, but, Green Goblin says, please make me modder. Modder didn't stop an abuse. Everyone mad fan of you. Half of people here need banished. They made fun of you because of Car. Mork, was this true? For the first half of this guy's statement. So first, Green Goblin was saying, please make me... He was saying a bunch of gibberish. Stuff I could barely understand. Stuff that made me want to ban him more than mod him. But then he got to this stuff. Half of people here need banish. I agree. I agree with that as a general rule, but I don't have the heart in me to do it. Then he said, they made fun of you because of Car. And he ended it with Mork. They made fun of you because of Car. Is this true? Were you guys making fun of my car problems? How do I scroll to this topic? Will chat let me... It won't let me... Were the people... Were you all making fun of my car problems? Shame on you. Shame on you. I have half a mind to end stream right here. I show up here hoping for some empathy, hoping for some questions like, hey, Morj, can we buy you a new car possibly? Could we send you a car? Could we send you parts of a car and some guides on how to assemble it? Maybe ask me about how my shoulder's doing again? I don't know. Maybe ask me how my day was? Maybe ask me to... That's it. I'm going to talk more about my car now. I'm going to ruin this stream. This stream will be very car-centric from here on, because then that way none of you will be happy. Hold on. Lord Nagaviper says, too many Seraphs will feel like Edo Tensei, in my opinion. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's Naruto. It's just Naruto again. But, it'll be better. I'm more excited about this. Name says, do you think Seraphims are Logias? No, because none of the Shichibukai were Logia. Crocodile, the fucking first one. The fucking first Shichibukai was a Logia. The one I just dropped a long-ass video about. Stas Silantiv says, your car is mid. Sinan, everyone trying to be more like Sinan McKenna. He said, false, we love you and your car. I don't care if you love me. At least don't make fun of the car situation. Come on now. What if I told you I was stranded in the middle of nowhere at 11 o'clock at night? No, let's make it even later, even more dramatic. At midnight, in a bad part of town. Would the car trouble be that funny then? Think about that. Seraphim Move says, imagine a Seraphim ace with a clone magma fruit. Oh man, you're gonna make Luffy either cry or just beat the shit out of it. Could be an interesting final fight for Sabo, since Luffy's probably gonna fight Akainu. Yeah, I don't see Sabo fighting Akainu, but maybe he does. It's just, it would feel so much less impactful or earned to me than Luffy versus Akainu. I think Luffy versus Akainu is gonna be like the most emotional fight Luffy ever has. And people instead are like, give it to Sabo. Why? So Sabo is someone to fight. It's like, okay. Bartos Z says, hey, more, because what's Sabo going to yell? He's going to yell something like, damn you, Akainu, if I hadn't gotten amnesia all like fucking 15 years or some shit, why I would have been there and I would have socked you a good one or something. And it's going to be like a harsh reminder that Oda just wrote away Sabo into the background for the entire first half of the story thanks to amnesia. And he had to read about Ace dying in a newspaper. It was a weird scene. Bartos Z says, hey Morj, it's been a while. Could Seraphs rebel or show hint of free will in final moment? They seem to be more bioclones rather than machines. I'm not going to expect stuff like that out of them just because I think after Onigashima wrapped, I think I'm just not going to expect much out of... I think it's easier to temper... Here are the only villains that I'm expecting some character stuff out of, okay? Akainu, Blackbeard, that's it. I'm just not going to I'm just not going to make an assumption that we should be getting anything more. Because I thought that the Tobi Roppo were really, really interesting conceptually for a little bit. I thought there were a lot of dynamics we could go into with them. Then we kind of didn't. King, Queen, it felt like there was maybe more to their characters that we just didn't really get to see. I think King, especially with his past. Even like the numbers, because the numbers, there were so many theories going around for a bit. It seemed like the numbers were some sort of science experiment that still retained some degree of their original personalities. And there was a lot of evidence that seemed to suggest that those three numbers that Yamato befriended were actually mutated forms, experimented upon forms of the three samurai that she befriended in the cave. So there's like a lot going even just for those numbers. And then that didn't really go anywhere. And we kind of forgot about the numbers. So it's just like, I'm not going to assume anything about the Seraphim. I think Oda's just throwing in some stronger characters to fight. I don't think we need anything else. Karj! Who's Karj? Karj and Morj. All right, Brent, that's a creative one. Is it, though? I don't know. All right. Brendan Walsh says, I hope Kid Boa's fruit doesn't work on anyone. Sus. Oh, that would actually be... You're the first... Brendan Walsh is the first person to bring this up. If Kid Boa's fruit works on people, that's basically... I mean, that's basically like a radar for pedophiles, right? Like, you could base it... It's literally just that. Golden Row, what's going up? Going on. Setting insanely high expectations at this point is setting yourself up for disappointment. Yeah. I mean, I just don't think the Seraphim, they're built to be bioweapons, right? They're not supposed to be anything more. Let's continue with this. What's going on? With a great bellow of thunder, Onigashima and Kaido the Dragon King plummeted to the earth. Was there a great bellow of thunder? I guess Luffy did grab that thunderbolt earlier. That was a cool panel. But, okay. All right. There stood Orochi. This scene that never actually happened. Hard as it may be to believe, there stood Orochi burning and baleful, and he said the wrath of the Kurozumi clan. This stuff never happened. Where's the part where it says Kaido and Big Mom died? Can someone tell me that? Did I miss it already? I can't pronounce this name. Muksahan. This is hieroglyphics or some shit. What language is this? I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just accidentally being rude. How do I say this? I appreciate it. Seraphim, like pacifistas, are basically weapons, not humans. I agree. Vegapunk's research to make a weapon to eat the devil fruit makes much more sense now. Yep. Yeah. Wait a second. So, okay, so let's piece it together there. Hold on. Do I piece it together here or do I piece it together off stream? If I piece it together here, then I don't get a video out of it, do I? When I say piece it together, I'm just saying a fun theory. I'm not saying like, oh, I actually solved anything or anything like that. But like, I think a lot of interesting little pieces could come together right here. Hold on. Yeah, wait, no, this is pretty cool. Okay, hold on. Oh, this almost makes me want to change tomorrow's video, but it's too late. The works are in the fire, the iron's in the fire, the coals are in the... Whatever's in the fire, you know what the phrase is. Ray Del Ninja says, sorry about your car, but at least you're hot. Thank you. More importantly, do you think Vegapunk extracting Kizaru's devil fruit is related to Blackbeard using multiple? Sorry about your car, but at least you're hot. More importantly, do you think Vegapunk extracting Kizaru's fruit... I don't get this question. How is it related? Do you think Vegapunk extracting Kizaru's devil fruit is related to... Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, it's Russian? I would never have guessed Russian that this guy's name was. I can't even say his name because I can't say the name, right? Mixin something. No, I don't think it's Russian. I just don't think it's... I've got a theory it's not Russian. Extracting the... I don't know. I don't know about that. But I do have an idea right now. Maybe I'll just type it on my phone. Wait. We have to turn away from Facecam real quick. We have to turn away from Facecam so I can type a note. All right? Or not Facecam. You know what I mean. Display cam. The one that's not... You know what I mean. Hold on. All right, everybody shut up for a second. All right? Entertain yourselves. Should I put on music or something like that? I guess I can hum. I'm not good at humming. Let me just write it. The faster I write it, the quicker we get out of here. Or not. You know what I mean? The quicker we get back to your scheduled content. It's something like... Hold on. Wait, you guys can't see me right now, right? Hold on. Okay, we're good. All right, I think I'm onto something there. That'll be a fun theory maybe for next week. Fuck. I should have saved that for this week. Now this week's video is ass. Comparatively. Alright. Whatever. This week's video is good. Don't believe what I just said. It's just that I guess next week's video will be better. How come there's so many mods in chat? I swear, some days, there's like no mods. Someday there's like no mods around. And then like other days, all I see is blue. Like some days mods are complaining to me. They're like, put it in slow mode, stuff like that. We can't do anything. And then other days, like everyone's just got a blue wrench. Cody says, what do you think about Weevil being a failed Whitebeard? Yeah, like a Whitebeard Seraphim. Yeah, I like that theory. Who said it? First of all, I've lost track of this thread, why we have this chapter up. The reason we have this chapter up is we're trying to find where it was established in this translation that Kaido and Big Mom are dead. Are they dead? Does the narrator say that? Their death screams split the sky. Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. Kaido the Dragon King, the great ghastly Oran, their death screams split the sky. Their death screams split the sky. That's also not true. This fucking narrator is just I prefer our narrator. You know, the one that actually, like, the narrator text boxes that we get from our narrator. I like that guy better, because he always tells the truth for the most part. This guy's just a liar. He says certain things that just didn't actually happen. This isn't even, like, embellishing. I mean, I guess it's embellishing. It's probably the definition of embellishing. Not only... Okay, time out. Not only did their death screams not split the sky... It's actually the exact opposite. It's literally the exact opposite. Look at this shit. All right. So not only is that not true, you can actually look back and specifically the thing that's happening, the specific thing that's happening as Big Mom is falling is she is in a bubble of silence. She is very literally in a bubble of silence. No one can hear her. This is a bubble of silence. She's inside a bubble of silence. That was the whole point of this scene. All right? There were no death screams that split the sky. This is the sound of her. This is her silently falling while nobody is able to hear it. Everybody is over here laughing and celebrating while this entire scene is deathly quiet. All right? Complete silence. All right, so that's one. Let's check number two. Again, their death screams split the sky. I don't know about that. Let's check number two. Is Kaido a yeller? Does he scream much? All right. We get a crack as the blow hits him. All right, some stuff's happening. He's definitely getting punched. It seems mostly silent to me. Literally the only sound effects are this music shit and some laughter. And then he's kind of just gone. Yeah, he's kind of just gone. There's a sound effect here that says grush. Don't know what that means exactly, but grush. Yeah, this seems fairly silent across the board. The sound effects are all coming from here. I mean, I'm with the narrator. I wish it was as epic as the narrator made it sound, but it wasn't. It was actually the exact opposite of that. With a great bellow of thunder, Onigashima and Kaido the Dragon King plummet to the earth. No thunder to be seen. Would have been nice. Unless you're talking about like 4 chapters ago when Luffy did that lightning thing. I don't know. I would read this guy's version of Wano. This narrator's version of Wano, that sounds pretty dope. Let's get that guy to... Can Oda get a version of Wano out written by that guy? All right, what did I miss? Juan Carlos says, can someone eat a second devil fruit while Blackbeard uses Black Vortex? Unknown. Maybe? I don't know. If we see the Blackbeard pirates coming out with a bunch of devil fruits on hand, I think we'll get the answers to some questions. Papa Dogsucker says, if Alvida became hot after eating a fruit, why wouldn't someone who ate the Maramara become attractive if they weren't already? They're both paramecias. Could Boa just be bluffing? Because with Alvida's fruit, it was specific to the ability of the fruit, which was smoothing out. So it just had an extreme effect on her, which was smoothing out, I guess, all of her extra weight. I suppose, and just making her, typical One Piece girl model that Oda uses. But the Maramara, I don't know if that's inherent to the effect. You know what I mean? Like, being beautiful is inherent to the effect. Like, Alvida, it's just different. But it might. Wait, why do I still have the car problems thing pinned? Let me remove that. Hold on. Let me remove that. There's something else I'm supposed to pin Morj Unleashed. I'm supposed to pin that every stream. You guys are supposed to remind me. I mean, well, you're not, but it would be nice. It would be appreciated if you did. Listen, everybody, if you enjoy the streams and sometimes you're not able to catch the streams, or if you don't enjoy the streams and you just want to see the best part of streams, then check out Morj Unleashed, the best Morj channel out there. The best channel out there, period, if we're being perfectly honest. Yeah, just check it out. Pinned at the top. Got all the highlights with some really good editing in there. Disaster Master says, Morj destroys Kazuki propaganda with facts and logic. Yeah. It is actually Kazuki propaganda. They propaganda the Wado arc being a lot more epic than it was, which is hilarious. Big Bro Cook says, I think the sky split is in reference to the explosion during Momo's speech. Oh, okay. Okay. What? Who reminded me? I've seen... Hold on. You guys got to see the display. Hold on. You got to see the display. All right. Look at this. Look at all this blue. Everyone's saying, he finally noticed his car thing. Jesus, Garge. We did remind you. I try to remind. We literally reminded you multiple times. I don't remember any of this, but it's crazy. That's like the... Hold on. Have you guys heard of this? Who's heard of this? Who's heard of... Hold on. Let me show you guys. It's time to educate some of you all. First of all, Hazard and Gibson says, Seraphim seems to be large kids. Page 10 on bodies. Oh, you think they're bigger than normal? Okay, I'll take a look at that next. All right, hold on. Here's what we're looking at. The Mandela Effect. All right? This is the Mandela Effect. Educate yourselves a little bit. False memories can sometimes be shared by multiple people. This phenomenon was dubbed the Mandela Effect by paranormal researcher Fiona Broom, who reported having vivid and detailed memories of news coverage of Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s. Yeah. So this is one of those classic examples of that. You guys just got Mandela affected. No big deal, happens to everybody. Even the great Fiona Broom. Bartos Z says, what devil fruit do you think Blackbeard will eat as a third? I've got a really cool theory for that. Okay, there are theories that fall into two categories, all right? Theories that fall into two categories. Let me show you guys. If I had my second monitor, I'd be like that, but I didn't have time to set it up, as I told you all. If I had it set up, you guys would be seeing some damn quick transitions and stuff like that. Instead, I got to do a slow ass sort of close some stuff, click over. It's just a whole thing. All right. So let's look at recent Morj videos, right? Look at recent Morj videos. We're here. So there's theories that fall into two categories. Types of theories that I do. There's theories that I genuinely, truly believe from the bottom of my heart, and I feel like, oh, it just makes 100% sense. All right, examples of these theories are pretty much everything from the raid fail era. Kaido getting back up, rest in peace. Kaido has awakening, rest in peace. Usopp's big moment in Wano is coming, rest in peace. This was, why Yamato's definitely not joining the crew. I did 100% believe that. Kaido's gonna beat up Gear 4th Luffy. All this, like, any theory that came from, like, raid failing related stuff, I 100% believe from the bottom of my heart. Okay? Pretty much anything there. Then there are theories that I put in the category of, like, these are fun to throw out because it feels like a lot of stuff connects and it'll be fun to talk about. Like, okay, Im falls into the category of, like, I'm so confident in this that I just put in the category of analysis, but I don't think it's so controversial that it needs to be labeled a theory. Most people are on board, I think, with the idea that Im might be the final villain or that things are heading towards Im and the world government or something like that being the final villain. So, I mean, that's not even, like, a theory that I'm personally claiming. Blackbeard will steal Pluton. I 100% believe this, right? But here's stuff that I think is, like, more so fun stuff to put out, right? Fun stuff to put out. Monster Trio versus Admirals finals matchups. Okay. What else we got? Zunisha as Pluton falls under that category. I thought, like I still only put out theories if I feel like a lot of things click. But Zunisha is not Pluton, right? But it was really exciting for its time. And I felt like it has a good shot at, or like it would be really cool at that time. And it felt like a lot of things made sense with relation to that. So this one falls into that category, right? What's another one? Zorro Green Bull's father definitely falls into the category. Like, these are theories that, like, they're more so, there's enough interesting stuff to talk about there that, like, I do think that that's true at the moment, but I'm not, like, gonna bet my house on it. Raid failing, I would have bet my house. You guys know I placed a lot of bets, and I was so confident I was gonna do more bets, but, like, my conscience told me not to, I guess. Like, there was a small part of me that was like, no, it's not the smartest thing. Don't do it. So I only lost 1K over the raid failing and, like, 3 videos to Grand Line and Sensei Inc. where I had to say, like, sub to those channels and stuff like that. But I could very well have ended up... There's an alternate reality where I bet a lot more money on the raid failing. Anyway, wait, did someone say set up monitor on stream? Lord Naga Viper? Would that be fun? It would be just you guys making fun of me at being bad at setting shit up. But you guys might be helpful. Could be nice having Sean Easton around while I'm setting up this monitor. Mavahed Sadeghi says, Morj Unleashed is the best channel. I want to unsubscribe from every channel, including Mr. Morj, and just follow its content, especially Zorro AI. Okay, you had us at the first half. Let's not listen to everything this guy's saying. No need to unsub anywhere. All right, you're allowed to sub to multiple channels. You can just sub to Morj Unleashed separately, and it will have no effect on your previous subscriptions. Caleb Brown says, I had the Mandela once. Yeah, I agree when you said that car shit earlier, right? I thought there was a character in One Piece called Yamato, and she was completely pointless to the plot, yet got so much focus. Weird. Yeah, good thing that never happened. For the record, I'm interested in Yamato's newer developments, or future developments. I do have a Viz subscription. I swear, I'm just not logged in. I feel the need to prove it to you guys now. Give me a second. Let me log out, log in. Hold on. Damn, I wish I had another monitor. Sebastian Orala says, you are surprisingly consistent on being entertaining. What the fuck does that mean? What am I... What? I don't even know how I feel about that. You're surprisingly consistent on being entertaining. All right. Thanks, Sebastian. That's a very backhanded compliment. All right. Thank you. All right, look at this. You see all this? I can read all the Viz chapters because I have an account. Because I pay for One Piece, all right? For the record. I'll say this, by the way, okay? Most streamers that have their clips channels, right, where you clip together other stuff, like fun moments from streams and stuff like that, most streamers who have those channels, I didn't even think about this till recently. Those streamers are like streamers. Like, they're full-time streamers. They're streaming all the time. At least 5 days a week. Probably 4 or 5 hours a day. Okay? Morj Unleashed puts out good videos. Legitimately good, funny videos, in my unbiased opinion. With, like, me doing 1.5 streams per week. Alright? Sometimes we get a Thursday stream. If anything. Alright? Let's all appreciate the editing that goes into Morj Unleashed for a second, because I don't do that. The people who edit it definitely have a knack for elevating 1 to 3 hours total of stream content a week into 2 enjoyable videos. Uchek says, we just left Wano. We've already been shown a flashback to Luffy and the others in Wano. Do you think Oda will show us more regarding Zoro's heritage in the same way later? I think that we could get a flashback of Zoro at Ryuma's grave, just because it seems like Oda's remembering some things at this point. Oh, I was going to talk about Yamato. Let me talk about Yamato for a second. Mr. Crescent says, what if the raid did fail and they were all just asleep under the Beast Pirate's control and were dreaming they were winning and we're all just in Luffy's dream? Sure, that's a possibility, but I don't think that's what's about to be revealed in the story. I think we've kind of moved along. Raghav Mata says, surprised how Morj can speak coherently. How low are you guys lowering the bar at this point? First it was like, surprised Morj is consistently entertaining. Now it's surprised Morj could speak coherently. Surprised Morj could turn on a computer. Actually, yeah, to be fair, I don't know how to set up this other monitor, to be honest, if I'm being perfectly honest. The car stuff is kind of giving me a pass, because I was like, well, I had this car trouble today, so I couldn't set up the second monitor. But I'm being perfectly 100% real with it. I could have a full fucking week in this room by myself with just this laptop. So I have internet, I have Wi-Fi access, I can look things up. I have this laptop and the monitor. And there's like a solid 50-60% chance I still don't figure it out by the end. Stay tuned for maybe Thursday's stream. I'll have it down. I don't know. I just feel like one of my bigger worries, I was going to talk about Yamato. We talk about Yamato, then the plan was that we're going to react to some theories that are coming out of this chapter. That's the plan for the stream. But in a broader real world sort of sense, right? I have a theory that I will be close to incapable of functioning in society by the time I'm like 40. Here's why. Because technology is improving at like, or not improving, it's just evolving at an extremely fast rate, right? In fact, it kind of is moving faster and faster and faster just because we're inventing better technology to be able to improve things faster, right? So technology moves like really, really fast in terms of its improvements. Now, most old people, just because of the age or like the period in your life where you're a little bit sharper and you're a bit more in tune with everything that's going around and the societal changes and everything like that, including the technological changes, there's like a window where you're really able to grasp and absorb, how society or like how technology and everything is shifting, right? So you don't really fall behind. But then there comes an age where slowly too many changes and your own lack of use of whatever it might be, social media, internet, different devices, iPads, blah 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 blah. There's a certain point where all of that starts to slow down and then it starts to pass you up, because not only are you using that stuff less, but it's also accelerating at a rate where you are kind of past your prime in terms of absorbing information, right? So that's true, I think, for everybody. But for me especially, because I'm already way, way behind the average person in terms of technological competency, because I just hate learning stuff like this, like basic stuff. I think that's going to happen for me way faster than the average person. So I think I'm basically fucked by the time I'm 40. Because already, here's the thing. Already, I don't have TikTok. I don't use TikTok because it's a whole new thing I'd have to learn. And I don't want to have to learn like a whole new thing. I don't use Instagram because there was just a period like Facebook, Twitter, Snap, blah, 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 blah. At a certain point, Instagram, I was just like, that one will go away. That one will die down. Surprise, surprise. That's the one that fucking blew up and everyone uses now. So I don't use Instagram because I just have to learn a whole new method of like interacting with society and stuff like that. I just ignore it. I pretend it doesn't exist, right? So I'm already missed Instagram. TikTok, I legitimately don't understand. Don't want to. So all that really needs to happen is like one or two more social media platforms come up that are like newer than TikTok and Instagram, and that's it. I'm basically done. I won't be able to use the internet. It's over. Julian Criswell says, Morj and O'Hara report, recap/review. I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe. I haven't talked to him in a while. Flame Emperor says, Pudding stole the Straw its memories. They forgot that the raid failed and that Yasue's body is missing. That would be, I would love that twist. Ben says, do you think Vegapunk is a good guy? I'm on the fence about it. He did hang out with Judge, Queen, and Caesar. Yeah, but come on now. Caesar and Judge, we don't even hate them that much at this point. We're kind of okay with them. We're kind of around there, right? It's like, if Queen's definitely bad guy, Caesar, we kind of warm it up to a little bit, I think. Judge, I think we warmed up to him a little bit, right? Maybe Vegapunk's kind of the balancing force. Here's the main reason, right? I think that Vegapunk's probably not a bad guy. It's just because the light in which we got a full chapter kind of showcasing the type of person that Caesar is. And that was a chapter where he blamed everything bad on Vegapunk, even though it sounds as though Vegapunk was trying to be a careful scientist and everything like that. This was way back in Punk Hazard. So thinking about it like that, like it's a chapter called Stop It, Vegapunk. Does anyone know? Randy Troy says, Skynet started learning at a Skynet started learning at a geometric rate. It became self-aware at 12:15 a.m. on August 29th. Okay, so it already happened. Do we have a date for this, Randy? What date did this, like a year? Because August 29th has passed, so are you telling me that it's over? Christian McCurdy says, my partner made Sanji's whole cake island cake. Bitly to... What are you doing? Cushion. No one cares about your partner's cake. All right. Instead, somebody tell me what the chapter is. That's Stop It, Vegapunk. What chapter is that? We got a chapter? It's an inversion of Shanks / Buggy. Brotado D God says Caesar Vegapunk is an inversion of Shanks and Buggy. Is it an inversion? Isn't it just the same dynamic, except maybe Vegapunk plays the role of Shanks and Caesar plays the role of Buggy? Somebody answer my question. You guys are One Piece readers. Somebody look... I guess I look it up. Is it my job to look it up? I guess it's my job to look it up. 592? It's not 592. That was pre-time skip. How the fuck would it be 592? Stop It, Vegapunk. Chapter 684. All right. No thanks to you guys. All right, so let's take a look at this chapter and see if we can attain some information. You know, can we derive some information regarding the type of person that Vegapunk might be? Yamil Diaz says, do you know X-23 from X-Men, the female clone of Logan? Yeah, from X-Men 2. I know she's from the actual comics and everything, but I know her originally from X-Men 2. What if Yamato was like that? One of the first cloning attempts gone wrong. Their hair is white. Oh, that'd be very interesting. Super interesting. Would love if it's something like that. Julian Criswell says thoughts on Vegapunk being an alien captured by the world government would explain his mind being errors ahead and why he seems good but works for the world government. I'm kind of giving Vegapunk a pass for a lot of stuff because when you're working for the world government, you know, you don't necessarily have to have all of your actions under your control, right? He might be being forced to work for the world government. We don't know. Flame Emperor, message retracted. Flame Emperor's messages get retracted very, very often. So I'm curious if he's just trying to jump in. There's either two things he's doing. Either he's jumping in and asking me some personal questions, or he's dropping spoilers. I'm assuming it's spoiler related. Just because I know that 1060 spoilers, they're definitely around the corner. All right, Vegapunk, what type of person is he? Wait, are we on, all right. Okay. Come on. Where's the Vegapunk section? This is a battle in the name of scientific vengeance. On that day, I tried to stop him. So, you know, obviously One Piece, everything Caesar is saying here is a lie, which means that we can kind of assume the opposite framing for everything is the correct framing. So, Vegapunk, if this weapon were to go off, what would become of all the people on this island, right? So that's what Caesar is claiming that he is saying, right? So Caesar is claiming that he was saying, if this weapon were to go off, what would become of all the people on this island? That suggests to me that Vegapunk was more likely the person who is concerned with the fates of the people on the island, right? So that sounds like some good guy material. KidSmitty94 said, could cyborgs be immune to observation hockey and maybe even Conqueror's hockey? The way androids in DBZ can't be sensed. Well, okay, so with Conqueror's hockey, right? Okay, so it's two things, right? Maybe they're immune to the basic versions of both, but they should be because advanced observation hockey is just seeing the future, right? So it shouldn't, in theory, be related to another character as far as I know. You're just seeing 15 seconds into the future. So, for example, if in the future there's like an explosion or something like that, as far as we know, you should be able to see it, right? Now, that's a little bit muddied because our explanations of observation hockey and our uses of advanced observation hockey have always been tied to combat or somebody, like the actions of another person. But at the same time, you could say something like, well, what about Madame Charlie's stuff, right? Like, well, no, even those are tied to the actions of another person, right? It's tricky. And when Luffy unlocked advanced observation hockey, it was tied to his understanding of other people, right? That was what we focused on during the Rayleigh flashback. So it's hard to say. We need some confirmation, but in theory, on paper, just seeing the future means that you can see the future, right? You can see the flow of everything that's going to happen 5 seconds or so from now, right? So you should be able to see the androids as well, even if they don't have a will in that sense, right? Now, similarly, Conqueror's hockey, advanced Conqueror's hockey is advanced. It's just it's destructive force, basically, right? If Luffy can destroy a tree with advanced armament hockey, like, they can split the sky and stuff with advanced Conqueror's. Like, it's just an attack. It's going to affect you no matter what. The basic use of Conqueror's hockey, maybe it doesn't work on robots and stuff because that just makes sense, right? But advanced Conqueror's hockey, when there's actual destructive force being applied to it, that's going to work on anything that, like, destroys mountains and shit like that, right? The tricky part, though, is whether or not they can use Haki, right? That's the bigger question. Because the Mihawk bot, well, he's not a bot, right? He's a something. The Mihawk thingy, right? The Mihawk thing. Come on, man. What is this? The Mihawk thing, right? It was able to cut basically a mountain. This is low-key the best non-Devil Fruit related cutting feat on a large scale in the series. I put this as more impressive than Mihawk cutting that iceberg or that ice wave, because it's just an ice wave. You know, this is a full ass mountain. It's a piece of rock, right? Is it bigger than Pika? I don't know. It might be the biggest thing, right? So can you do this without Haki? Because Zorro really had to, Haki up to be able to cut that, to cut Pika's form and everything. It's hard to imagine someone just being able to do this no Haki. Flame Emperor says, do you think Mihawk is Rayleigh's son? No. I mean, I prefer the idea that Mihawk's just Mihawk. Like, I don't think everyone needs to be connected to everybody. Similarly, people were talking earlier in the stream, like, is Boa Hancock, Shaki's daughter, right? I don't think she needs to be. It's one of those things, like, in Naruto, I appreciated... We were getting to a point where every character that was relevant had to basically be a descendant of, whatever the fucking first Hokage's clan was, the Senju, or related to the Uchiha, right? Like, it was getting narrower and narrower who was allowed to be relevant, right? And characters that were still somehow relevant, like a Kakashi, that was because they're leeching off Uchiha powers, right? That's why I appreciated characters like Minato. I like Minato a lot because Minato's just a strong ninja who doesn't have, like, some special clan that he's part of or something like that. Very rare and, I guess, an underappreciated aspect of his by a lot of people in Naruto, I guess. So similarly, in One Piece, I hope not everyone's a D. I hope not everyone's, the descendant of someone like great, like a dragon, like a Rocks, like we're heading towards Shanks very likely being a son of Rocks, stuff like that. The monkey family, obviously pretty prevalent, but in general, the D clan, etc., everyone's a D at this point. So I'm hoping for characters like Mihawk to just stay in their own lane, stay in their own category. That's what I prefer personally. Name says, do you think Vegapunk will drop a nuke eventually? If Max Haki sinks an island, Roger rocks, it would make sense for Vega to have an island destroyer. But the one island destroyer that we know of in One Piece is Pluton, and that's what makes it so dangerous. So either Vegapunk has, maybe he's got an ace up his sleeve and he's created something to rival Pluton, but it sounded like the world government really, really wanted Pluton because it's a one of kind destructive force. So I don't think they've, at this moment in time, they may not necessarily have that down. Uninspired says, did Mihawk become the Navy hunter and distrustful as revenge for being experimented on in the past for SSG, kind of like King? I really just would prefer if Mihawk just has... Hold on. So, I think a lot of people feel like certain characters get better the more... Some people, I think, assume that characters will always improve if you flesh out their motivations. Or, like, flesh out their backstory or their characteristics or whatever. Or, like... Phrasing this poorly. Certain characters will always necessarily basically become better once you flesh out why they are the way they are, right? I don't think that's necessarily true. I think some characters are fine without getting an extra layer of, like, you need to understand why Mihawk likes to hunt Marines and stuff like that. Because some characters are just inherently interesting when you just get the straight up concept, right? Just as a concept, okay, Mihawk is a character that seems to enjoy hunting down prey, right? Partly for a challenge, partly to kill time, partly because he just became so strong that he can, and so he does, right? I think that in itself is interesting, and it sounds like he hunted and hunted till he found himself at the top of the world with no one else really left to rival him, so now he just does it to kill time. So that's kind of like a fun concept as a character. I don't think you need to delve deeper into why he is that way, if that makes sense. I also kind of felt this way with Sanji's extra backstory in Whole Cake Island. I don't think it's bad for his character or anything like that. This is a purely personal preference. Purely personal preference. I don't think I needed to learn... Like, I think a lot you can take away from Whole Cake Island kind of suggests why Sanji has such a soft spot for women and why he might be more so like in opposition to a lot of the more staunch macho type characteristics that his father Judge sort of embodied and taught his children, right? It's interesting that we get that explanation for Sanji's character, and I thought Sanji's backstory in Whole Cake Island was good. And overall, I really like Whole Cake Island, and I like what it was for Sanji's character. But I still feel like it wasn't ever necessary for us to get a backstory to find out, well, why does Sanji, put women on more of a pedestal than men, right? I thought that was just like an entertaining part of his character on its own without needing, like, not everything needs a why they are the way they are, because sometimes a character concept is just more interesting or entertaining when they are just a certain way, and that's what's naturally captivating about them. And once you start ascribing some reasons to break down why they turned out this way or something, it actually takes away a little bit of the, the mystique or intrigue behind the character. You don't need to show everything, I guess is what I'm saying. As much as we got a Zorro backstory and everything like that, right? As much as we were hinted at a Zorro backstory and everything like that in Wano, I am ultimately happy that Zorro did not get a backstory. I do not like that Oda dropped so many hints and basically outright said Zorro is from Wano and somehow made it over to East Blue and now he's back in Wano, and therefore, like, Oda really built up the idea that this was a very important and special place for Zorro and it's bringing his story full circle without that ever going anywhere, right? But if Oda had not, like, the fact that Oda set it up, that's its own problem, right? But I am ultimately happy that we didn't need to flesh out Zorro further, because I personally really, really like the idea of Zorro as just, from day one, being, like, from day one, right? From day one, before he even made his promise to Quina, he already had it in him. I want to sail and become the world's #1 swordsman. I won't lose to anyone ever again. That's fine. I like the character like that. I like that this came before the incident with Quina, because I don't want something to be like, I'm sailing, I want to become the world's #1 swordsman because my friend, I need to do it for my friend or whatever. We got a million of those. This is more interesting to me. I like that Zorro is just born and built like this as far as we know of him as a character. He wants to become world's #1. Why? Because that's just who he is, right? If you ask fucking Kobe Bryant, hey, what drove you to become so fucking obsessed to become world #1 at like the best basketball player in the world, which he was for like a little bit, right? He wouldn't tell you some sad backstory about like, well, my mom, some shit, I made a promise with my best friend as a kid. No, some people are just built like this, and that's what makes Zorro such an interesting character. He's just, to me, he's just driven unreasonably to go to such ridiculous lengths, right? To go to such ridiculous lengths to become the world's strongest swordsman. Sure, it's fueled by his bond with Queen and everything like that. But at the same time, this goal to become the world's strongest swordsman is something that he had even prior to that, right? And so when he would rather choose death than be the world's strongest swordsman, that's just an interesting character to me, right? And I'm happy that he was just born this way and he's just driven in this way. And that's why he's a character that makes sense. He's got what it takes to become the world's strongest swordsman because he's just built different. I prefer that for certain characters. So I'm happy in lots of cases that we don't get a back. I don't know why I went off on this long tangent, but there's lots of times where I feel like a backstory is not necessary. Like a further backstory to explain every aspect of a character's motivation, why a character likes this or that. So if we gotten some backstory in Wano where Zorro was like, I don't know, some weak little kid before this, and then like something inspired him and made him decide that he wants to become the world's strongest swordsman, I would have actually disliked that because it takes away, I think, from a large part of his appeal as a character to me. Let me catch up on some supers real quick. If you ask LeBron why he became the best, LeBron's my favorite basketball player ever, right? But if you ask LeBron why he became the best, it might be that like he was just so damn talented and then all of the world pushed it on him that he had to become the best, and then it's been living up to those. LeBron's probably got a more complicated answer in my opinion as to why he became what he became, because he has a very complicated story. I think LeBron's got one of the best stories in sports, period. All right, where are we at? What am I miss? Hawkeye Dragon says, do you think King is the last living Lunarian? Yeah, No, I guess not. It's very possible not. I don't know. I'm just going with the assumption that yes, he is, but we're going to get more Lunarian-related stuff in the future, a la these Seraphims, a la experiments, things like that. Gliststock Entrance says, best Smash in your opinion. Like, Melee is my favorite game, period. So, for me, it's that, and then there's a huge... Like, for me, I like the other Smash games quite a bit for fun, you know, but I don't put them above... Like, for my personal enjoyment, like, they don't have that special of a place for me or anything. Like, it's like Smash, that's fun, or whatever. Melee is a very, very, very different game from the other Smash games. Like, drastically, it exists on its own little island, basically. So for me, that's just the best Smash game. But I would agree that for, like, general, casual fun, probably the newest one is the best. I loved Brawl when I was a kid, though. I played the shit out of Brawl when I was a kid. And I have a lot of nostalgic memories playing that with my group of friends at that time, because we had, like... this was before, like... Well, we had Melee before, but we didn't, like... We were kids. Like, we didn't know anything difficult about Melee, right? So Brawl was the main game I played as a child. Or, like, middle school era, basically. So, like... Because it was just... In our neighborhood, I had a few friends my age. Basically, my oldest friends, pretty much. And the one, like... We just played Brawl. Like, we just played that, basically, for, like, a while. Like, if we're hanging out, that was the one game we all had in common that we enjoyed, so we would just play that, basically, for years. So that's got the nostalgic boost for me. So maybe I'd put Brawl second for my favorites. Mark Grayson says, do you think Blackbeard has a third Devil Fruit or will get one in the future? I talked about that. Like, there's a theory I've got on that I think is kind of a fun, interesting theory that I don't like. I'm not like 100% on, but I think a lot of things kind of connect that would make it a really interesting possibility. Basically, I do want to share that at some point. Disaster Master says, the thing is, we just want to see Zorro's day one. Like when he was born? What does that mean? Mahavid Sadegi says, Morj, will you summon the AI for theory confirm? The AI, so here's the thing. The AI takes credits, so we can't just call up the AI whenever. It's using up credits, essentially, all right? So keep that in mind. We don't have infinite access to the AI. The AI streams too, they can get old real quick if we do them too frequently. So there'll be another AI stream at some point, and we'll just tackle a totally different topic or some other fun shit. But I'm not doing another AI stream back to back to back, you know? You don't want to run it in the ground. Avery says, do you think there's a connection with the government having DNA, like Ors, the extra stride for Seraph stuff, or Vegapunk to make artificial Nika? There's a connection with the government having DNA. I mean, yeah, like, we all know that the government has the extra stride. Oh, you think the extra stride might be related to DNA stuff? That's interesting. Vegapunk making an artificial Nika? So somebody said earlier that there were 7 Seraphim in... Why did I say it like that? 7 Seraphim in actual biblical mythology, 7 Shichibukai. I'm going to keep my expectations tempered and just assume that it's the cool thing that we're getting right now, which is 7 Shichibukai as Seraphim, and that it's not going to go much further than that, basically. Because otherwise, like, it could, but I'm happy with the reveals that we've gotten so far, basically. I don't think I need it to be anything crazier than that. This has already surpassed expectations of... Okay, let me throw out a quick poll. Was the SSG more, or did the SSG surpass your expectations? That's the big question. Yes, no. Caleb Superson says, Morj, I know you're not into power scaling. I am into power scaling. I love power scaling. Gonna do a full power scaling stream at some point with some other YouTubers soon, hopefully. Morj, I know you're not into power scaling, but who do you think is the strongest pirate currently? Who do I think is the strongest pirate currently? Shanks, probably. Surpass my expectations. All right. So let me just screen share here real quick so y'all can see. That is pretty much a 90% rate of approval for the SSG. I think that is basically Oda knocking it out of the park, because it is really, like, the SSG he talked up for so long, and I think, like, it's not like I was, like, rolling my eyes at the SSG. It's just that, like, I literally just didn't try to think about it at all, because I was like, okay, at the most basic level, it's probably going to be something like souped up pacifistas or like something like that. Some people are saying supersized giants. So it's like, okay, so maybe some numbers like Kaido has, like some giant ores type creatures. So I was like, in my mind, I was like, yeah, that'll be cool when it comes to it. And maybe it's something even more impressive than that. Potential Pizza in here. I think Potential Pizza actually was sharing a theory way back when with me about like he believed that it'd be dragons, basically like some artificial dragons a la Punk Hazard. So I was on board with all that stuff. I was like, it'll probably be cool when the time comes, but I didn't like have a lot of mental stock put into the SSG because I was just like, how good could it be, right? Like it's some world government shit. It's probably better pacifistas, ores type shit, maybe some dragon type shit, like, but it's not gonna be anything like it'll probably be stuff that like really buffs up their mass armies or forces or something was kind of what I assumed, and I think what pretty much every theory I saw was assuming. So this reveal that it's actually like the world government get the Shichibukai back. Like they just got the Shichibukai and the Shichibukai are actually working for him, and we get the real Shichibukai doing their real stuff out in the real world. That is awesome. Like I don't really know what would have beaten out the SSG in terms of like a better concept, basically. And like the cool thing is that it was well set up. That's what I like about the SSG as well, or the Seraphim as well. It was well set up in that it wasn't like Oda knew he was making something really, really strong, right? With these Shichibukai, these android versions of Shichibukai, right? And he could have, like, honestly, he could have just straight up introduced, like, okay, the thing I like is that he, since the start of the New World, so from Punk Hazard through Whole Cake, through Wano, there's been a lot of emphasis on human experimenting. Like, human experimenting, how far can this science go? What are the type of soldiers that could be created? The infusion of bloodline elements, the types of things that can be accomplished with this, right? And we've seen bits and pieces of what Caesar can do and what he's working on, what Judge can do, what he's working on, what Queen can do, what he's working on. They're all in the same sort of direction of creating stronger armies, stronger forces and stuff. Even throw Doflamingo and the gifters and everything in there, although that's really more Caesar, right? It's all in the same direction, right? And we're getting bits and pieces, Lunarian stuff, clone armies, things like that. We're getting all of that stuff, like lab-grown human beings. All of this is set up for long, long periods of time, right? And then finally, Vegapunk, the moment we get the reveal of what Vegapunk's been working on, it's essentially the culmination of what all these other guys were working on, but way, 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 way better and way more potent. So one, makes Vegapunk look light years ahead of the rest of these guys that he was working with at some point. Two, it is fully established, like the kind of upwards trend or like the general trend moving towards this direction. This was kind of the final endpoint of like some superpowered androids that actually can make a huge difference in the grand balance of power in the world and everything like that, right? But it was well set up. It's not like the Seraphim are just being dropped out of nowhere and it's like, whoa, now there's like crazy powerful Shichibukai clones and stuff like that can shoot lasers and shit, and they've got Lunarian powers or whatever. It's like Oda really spent a long time emphasizing the science and technology and like the biological work that's been going on by all these scientists in the background, all kind of skirting around this idea of like, what if you could create some really powerful soldiers, and then finally putting it all together with like these Shichibukai clones, right? Homegrown Shichibukai clones with Lunarian DNA and pacifista technology infused in them. Like, he laid the breadcrumb. Like, there's nothing you can say about the Seraphim being like busted or like obviously they're really strong, but like you can't say that like, oh, it's an aspel or it's out of nowhere or anything. It's like, no, we had so much set up and build up towards this. This is actually almost like a payoff to all of this science bullshit that we've been hearing about for so long. So I really, really like that, because the reality is Oda could have just dropped those. He could have cut all that other stuff. He could have not shown us any experiments in Punk Hazard, not really talked about Judge's experiments in Whole Cake or anything, not really talked about, like, he could have cut a lot of this stuff and we would have still eaten it up. We would have been like, oh shit, there's some Shichibukai clones and they're like really fucking strong and they're like pacifistas and stuff. We would have eaten it up anyway. But I like that he like did the due diligence of like really, really hammering in that, yeah, this science stuff, this bioweapon type stuff that everyone's working on, this is really important and this has the potential to be a crazy game changer. And then we find out what Vegapunk's working on and we're like, holy shit, yeah, with that dude running his experiments, it makes everybody else look like scrubs, and he's really got it down, and he's got, you know, basically the future of the world in the palm of his hands, pretty much. I really, really like that this is kind of the final result of what we're seeing from all of this science stuff that's been worked on for so long. Rush Sin said a single SSG soldier had more hype than Blackbeard in the first action of chapter of Blackbeard since pre-time skip. Any chance of Blackbeard being final villain is gone? No, I wouldn't say that because Blackbeard, the whole way Oda rolls with Blackbeard is that like he's made to look unimpressive in moments and then extraordinarily impressive in other moments, right? That's his thing. You could be like, oh, well, he got one-shotted by fucking Magellan. All right, Blackbeard is not quite it, right? You could be like that, and then like a chapter or like an arc later, it's like holy shit, Blackbeard's the most overpowered character in the world. He's got the Darkness Fruit and the Guruguru no Mi. It's kind of just the way Blackbeard rolls. So I don't think Blackbeard is the final villain anymore, but like sure, he's not at full strength right now. Most likely he'll be showcasing a third fruit by the end of the story. I think by the time we get to the end of the story, Blackbeard will once again be looking like pretty much the scariest dude out there, short of or something like that, you know? It's just, I wouldn't read too much into this instance, you know? Grizzly Adam says, Zorro didn't need a new backstory, but he should have gotten a deeper storyline on Wano. Yes, definitely should have gotten a much deeper storyline on Wano. Again, my thing is not just like, oh, it's Wano, therefore Zorro should get something better in Wano. It's that Oda clearly wrote in a shit ton of stuff, material there for him over the course of Act 1 and especially Act 2. There's a lot there. If you go back one and read Act 2, you're just gonna be like, and pay attention to Zorro's stuff. It's just bizarre. It's just like, why would Oda even waste pages or panel time writing in like this little plot thread or this little plot thread or this motivation? It's all just scrapped. Like it goes nowhere. That's the bigger thing. It's not like this is this island, therefore Zorro needs to get stuff for this arc, right? It's more so we're at this arc. It feels like it could be a good Zorro arc. It's setting everything up. There's so much setup going into establishing key plot points and key pieces of information and key motivations for Zorro over the course of the arc. It seems like everything's heading towards like this being a very deep, meaningful storyline for him. And then all of that is washed away, right? So again, it's not like I had that expectation in place from when the arc started, but partway through the arc, it's like too much is set up or too much emphasis has been placed on this character having important storylines in this arc to then just not have anything for him, you know? Perhaps utilizing Hiyori to address the no female samurai plot. Yeah, that was ignored. Zoro's belief that like women can't be strong in combat or strong swordsmen is basically not counteracted at all over the course of Wano. It's not addressed at all. In fact, he's basically saving Hiyori repeatedly over the course of the arc. Eat the Earth says, Kobe just wanted to be like Jordan. Yamato just wanted to be like Odin, but y'all don't like that. Double standards. You're right, those are the same things. Who did Jordan want to be like then, huh? Let's use Jordan as the example. Cigar Verk says, Oda dodged everything in Wano that is related to end-of-series stuff. Zoro's lineage seems to be part of it and might be something about Ryuma. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Could be interesting. Drek says, I don't trust Vegapunk with children anymore. Any word on what happened with the kidnapped children that Smoker and Tashigi were sending to him? Maybe we're looking at him. Maybe they're the new SSG. Just kidding, that doesn't seem likely. Ludovic says, Pedo Punk. Best thing I saw all day. Joanna, thanks, appreciate it. Andrew McCarthy says, I don't know, I was thinking Mihawk versus Gandhi Gorosei mainly was just putting a collective together. Also, I'm rewriting Wano because I want to see if I can fix it. 5-act structure and maybe raid fails if it fits. All right, I'll look out. Let me know if you make a big Reddit post or something like that. Okay, where were we at? We're going to talk something about Yamato a little bit. Okay, I was going to react to some theories. Is Randy still here? I was going to react to good theories that came out of this chapter specifically, because I think that'd be the most interesting. There's some, not Reddit theories. Those are boring. Those are all text. We don't like reading, right? Anime only here, okay? So, theories from... I was hoping that there'd be some good theories coming out of chapter 1059. Basically, if anybody's got some really good Seraphim theories or something like that, not Reddit, not text, but some YouTubers... We're going to talk Yamato first. I guess there's not much to talk about with Yamato, other than, like, I do like the potential from last chapter. Like, people don't understand, okay? Let me show you guys this, all right? People don't understand. Let me show you guys this first, all right? When it comes to Yamato, if Yamato ultimately becomes a crewmate, because this... I think that she could still very well become a crewmate. All right? I think she could very well still become a crewmate. if she has a character arc. Okay? Because this chapter sets her to a point where now it could make sense for her joining the crew. Because the argument I've always made, Flame Empress says, man, where's Smoker and Toshigi? What role will Toshigi have in the series long term? She seems kind of pointless. Yeah, believe it or not, I'm beginning to doubt Smoker for Nakama as well. Let's see. All right, pull up Paint. All right, good old reliable Microsoft Paint. All right. So my problem with Yamato was always that she is essentially, she was basically ready to go off the shelf as a Straw Hat, right? Whereas normally, Straw Hats start off at this point. Not ready to go. This is... Wait, I should swap these. Okay. Not ready to go. Can I do anything to this? Okay. Ready to go. All right, so normally Straw Hats start off here, okay? Normally Straw Hats start off here, in that they're not ready to go. There's stuff about their character, there's stuff about their story, their past, their character conflict, etc. that says they can't join the crew yet, right? They're not there as characters yet, okay? That's the fun of the story where some shit happens, right? Shit like, help me, I wanna live, Zeph, thanks for everything, right? Shit like this, right? You guys know the stuff, right? This is the stuff. This is the juice. This is the story, right? There's a story here. Some stuff happens, okay? Keep in mind, when I'm talking about going from not ready to go to ready to go, characters like Nami and Robin are not exceptions. Just because they got on the crew, just because they got on the ship, does not mean that they were genuinely Straw Hats initially, all right? They became genuinely, like, they were actually members of the crew. They became Straw Hats. They became bought into being a Straw Hat after they got their full arc. So Arlong Park for Nami, Enies Lobby for Robin, right? I'm not going to fight on that. That's just the way their character arcs are. You're just being willfully you're just playing dumb to make an argument if you want to argue that otherwise, right? Robin that joined after Alabasta, where she was still calling everyone Mr. Cook, Miss Navigator, where she literally was still suicidal and had no plans to stay on the crew long term and was literally just hitching a ride because she had nowhere else to go. That Robin was not a Straw Hat, all right? So that's the thing. Like, it's actually crazy to me that people argue Nami and Robin because they had the most extensive arcs to become not ready to go to ready to go. And then people are like, oh no, they joined the crew right away. Like, what story are you reading? Get the fuck out of here. What story are you reading, all right? So this is the arc, right? Not ready to go to ready to go. This is where the juicy character stuff happens. Over the course of the juicy character stuff, then they're ready to go. Now they're bought into the crew, they'll join the crew. Brook is the only exception I acknowledge, and I explain why he is an exception that does not apply to any other character in the actual video talking about why Yamato won't join the crew, all right? So Brook is a whole different story, right? Brook is a dude that's already died. He's on his second life. This is his second crew. Totally different story. Completely different character from everybody else, okay? But for pretty much every other Straw Hat, not ready to go, ready to go. That's the story, right? My problem with Yamato is always her arc starts at ready to go. She's just ready to go and ready to join the crew. Therefore, along with everything else that Yamato is, which is flat, one-dimensional, very basic, no depth, nothing, no writing related to it, if she just joined the crew, like that's her as a persona, if she also just joined the Straw Hat crew, it would cement her as the most flat, one-dimensional character in the manga by a long, long shot, right? Basically no story, no character development, no arc or anything like that. She's literally a prepackaged Straw Hat, doesn't have to grow into the arc, doesn't have to overcome some sort of character conflict. There's no depth to her, blah, blah, blah. She's just ready to go and that's it. That's the story, right? That was always my problem with her. So I thought that the arc that she would get would be taking her from really wanting to be a Straw Hat and being ready to go to going to not ready to go. So I thought that this would be her arc over the course of the story. Realizing that Kaido's not around anymore, I need to be here to protect Wano. I can't just turn my back on everyone, right? That's it. I thought that would be her arc over the course of the story. Now, I was wrong about this, all right? She did have that arc, but not really, right? This isn't really an arc. There's nothing that really happened. She kind of just had a realization, right? So it turns out, though, that it seems more so that it's setting her up to be ready to go, then pulling her back a little bit to the starting point that the other Straw Hats are at, which is not ready to go, right? So we didn't really... I thought that this would be her full story, and this was everything we'd get from Yamato. Going from here to here. I thought that would be it. That'd be happen over the course of Wano. In reality, it seems like this jump from ready to go to not ready to go, that's kind of like something that's not that important to Oda. He's just going to pull her back real quick, right? He's just pulling her back real quick, but still saying that her primary motivation at the end of the day is that ultimately she wants to be part of the crew. So that's very interesting to me because it seems like it's almost as though we could nix a lot of her story in Wano, right? And it's almost like we're starting with a fresh character. A character who wants to join the crew, but she's clearly not ready to go because there's still some stuff that she needs to accomplish first, some realizations she likely needs to have, some growth most likely that she needs to have, right? And then she can, next time we see her, maybe she's having a full arc where she goes from not ready to go to ready to go. You see what I'm saying? So whereas I thought that it'd be this sort of circle this sort of semicircle, ready to go to not ready to go, in fact, I think Oda's doing a full circle of ready to go to not ready to go, back to ready to go, and that's why I have high hopes for her character next time. What is she gonna, what is gonna happen in Wano with her character between now and the next time we see her? Or maybe during the final arc or something like that? That could be some good stuff. Maybe that stuff takes her from there to there and she actually joins as a Star Hat. At that point, I would be happy to see her join if the arc was good, etc. As long as she's dropped the Odin shit. If she's actually grown out of the character that she initially was, which was shitty, I will be very happy to see her join. I like character arcs that take a character from me disliking them initially to liking them initially. That was the case with Momonosuke for me. Momonosuke kind of had me by the time it was Zoe, but still, I think most people it took till literally the end of Wano when he got aged up, which kind of defeats the point, because it's like, if your main problem with Momonosuke was that he was like a whiny, crying little kid, he literally had to be magically transformed into an adult that doesn't cry all the time, basically, for you to like him. That's not me. I like Momonosuke by the time Zoe had rolled around and he'd given his speech in Zoe, and everything that happened afterwards in Wano was just gravy. I continued to like him. I liked all of the seasons in Wano, even prior to him turning into an adult and everything like that. It is funny to me that most people like Momonosuke. I think a lot of people say they like Momonosuke now because he really grew as a character, but come on, I think a large part of it is that he literally grew as a character. He's not, a little crybaby 80-year-old. He got devil fruit and magic hacks transformed into a not rational, but a visually full-grown, more composed adult, basically, right? And that's why people are more fine with him, right? But anyway, I like Momonosuke a lot because if you make me dislike a character at first and then eventually make me like the character, I actually like the character more at that point because I felt like I went with more of a journey and I grew to appreciate the character more over the course of it, right? If you can make me change my mind, that's going to make me appreciate things a lot more. So that's where I'm at with Yamato. So my Yamato hate, which has been a thing for a while, rightfully, unrightfully, or whatever, but there's a horizon that we might be looking out from a distance at where I actually love the character. And I think it's a great character. I don't know. You never know. You never know what the future holds. Grizzly Adams says, no, we covered this. Covered this. Andrew McCarthy says, I don't know. Covered this. Flame Empress, no, covered this. Okay, Mr. Crescent says, what if Tashigi beats Mihawk first? And shows Zorro that Kuina was right. What if Tashigi beats Mihawk first? What if Tashigi... Hey, why didn't she beat Blackbeard while she's at it? Who is this what is this? Come on now. Plank Vanilla says, damn, Morj, react to AJK's theory, man. No, we need a video theory. Just Meet Singh says, Morj, sorry I interrupted. I appreciate your interruption. Thank you. Appreciate the interruption. What is this? What's 1,000 of what? Holy shit. Is this rupees? Am I so disconnected from my homeland that I don't know what the rupee symbol is? Let's take a look. Rupees. If this shows me the Legend of Zelda, I need the symbol. That is rupees. Man, am I out of touch with my homeland? I think I am. Rupees are also the Zelda currency, for those of you who don't know what I was talking about. Thank you, I appreciate it. Caleb Siberson says, Morj, react to Evil's newest theory news video. I might do that. All right. We're going to react to at least one, because I put it in the title. Take Inventory says, do you think the SSG will be exclusive to... Do I think the SSG will be exclusive to former Warlords? Okay, yeah, we've covered this a lot over the course of the stream. Is there a chance of fan favorites such as Ace, Luffy, or even Vanderdecken? I mean, again, so I've said this multiple times, but that's heading into Edo Tensei territory. I don't know if we're headed there. Yeah, I really don't know if we're headed there. I think somebody said earlier, 7 Seraphim in the Bible, 7 Shichibukai. We might just be rolling with that. And I'm perfectly fine with that. This is already more than I think many of us expected with the SSG. Hawkeye Dragon says, could Kozaburo be a revolutionary? The Shimotsuki flag was shown near Saba poster on 1054, and in the ASL flashback, the revs were near Zoro's village. Okay, I know who you're talking about, but that's not. Kozaburo is dead, as far as I know, right? Am I crazy? That guy died. But I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Koshiro, right? Let me just confirm myself. Yeah, Kozaburo is dead. You're talking about Koshiro, right? Zoro's original OG sensei, right? I think it'd be cool if he's a revolutionary. I think it'd be cool if he's a revolutionary, but maybe it's just like a little Easter egg that he's supportive of the Revolutionary Army, but not necessarily one of them. Tom says, first it was X character should join the Grand Fleet, and now it has turned into X character should join Cross Guild, lol. Yeah, I mean, I agree, though. Cross Guild's dope. I would love to see more characters join the Cross Guild. I don't want to see more characters join the Grand Fleet unless, like, they've got a nice story with it, like Bellamy and everything like that. Because the Grand Fleet was like, it was like a moment in time, right? It was the experience that they all shared together in Dressrosa that bonded them together. I think Bellamy would be good for the Grand Fleet, but I don't think, like, Hancock fits the Grand Fleet, right? Like, Hancock fits more to me as, like, a general ally of Luffy, whereas Grand Fleet are people who want to be his subordinates, right? And those are subordinates that he's kind of earned. Nate Mate says, Morj, I have a Wano Part 2 theory. If Luffy goes after Blackbeard for Kobe, loses Devil Fruit, Caribou tells him about Pluton, Blackbeard destroys the border, steals Pluton, and Strahd versus Awakened Beast Pirates. Dude, I don't know if we're getting the Strahd versus the Beast Pirates again. That'd be kind of wild. It's just like, I think we're past that point in the story. I do think that we are getting a revisiting of Wano just because there's too much there that still seems to be important. I mean, even Big Mom's dying words, we're talking about Wano still having some keys to shit. I just don't know if I think that Kaido and Big Mom's section in the story is basically, that's a wrap. Because it's just like, it would be repetitive at this point. Like, I wouldn't even feel excited to see Kaido get back up at this point. Like, we've gotten the victory celebrations, everything, the bounty rewards and everything like that for the Straw Hats. You got all the juice that you kind of want out of Kaido's defeat. It just doesn't feel super satisfying for me because I wasn't very satisfied with the manner in which he was defeated. But objectively speaking, like, in the story, the things that you would normally expect as the positive, dramatic rewards for overcoming villains like Kaido and Big Mom, that's already happened in the story. So at this point, it would just be strange. It'd be like the world government hears news going around again. The Strahds beat the Beast Pirates again. Like, it's it's done. You know, they're done. They're done. I mean, you never know. But I'm saying I personally hope that this is it, because even I, who for so long pushed for Kaido getting back up, would not want that for the story at this point, right? So that's what I'm saying. All right, somebody said I have to go watch an evil what theories do I watch? What's good for me to watch? I'm gonna watch one, just because I said I would, but I want a good one. I would watch one of Randy's, but he said that his good theory for this week is coming out later, and he said that he's got some good spitball ideas, I think, inside his 1059 analysis, but I'm looking for some juicy theory, basically. Some juicy theory, hopefully related to the Seraphim. Did anybody watch a good YouTube video lately about the Seraphim? Ideally about the Seraphim, ideally from last chapter. Last chapter, basically. Last chapter theories only. That's what we're looking for here. High relevance. High relevance. Z number 37549 says, watch the raid will end in failure theory. Can we get some serious suggestions, please? Jolly D. Joestar says, laws and sword. No, I don't want to. I'm saying a relevant theory. A relevant theory. I'm getting some more support for Blackbeard. Okay, you know what? Fine. Let's do the Blackbeard thing, because that's related to Kobe. All right, Evil, this is for you. All right, let me turn on some desktop audio. Wait. How do I know that my... will my stream just get taken down? How do I know that it won't just get taken down? I'm not used to this sort of thing. First, let me add a few things. Let me add some desktop audio. How do I add desktop audio? I always forget. Come on, man. Desktop audio. Fuck. Default? Okay. 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 Yes? I think I did it. Yeah, I think I did it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah? I'm gonna move this. Okay. I think we're gonna have desktop audio. I think. Flame Emperor says, Zorro will fight the Seraphim Swordsman. He must do so to become the ultimate Minority Hunter. Yeah, Minority Hunter Zorro, that's been a solid joke for a little bit. I'm kind of tired of it. Just because I think it's been around for so long at this point. It just continues to fit, though, over and over. Cigarverk says, do you know the theory about how Blackbeard unalived Queen? Blackbeard killed Queen? I'd never heard of that. Tom says, Morj, I sure wish I had a crocodile's nephew emoji right now. Oh yeah, for those of you excited about emojis, which you all should be, they're coming shortly. We picked out the final selections. It's mostly just the badges and shit that we're sorting out at this moment in time. All right, we're going to react to one theory. And I have a theory as to how not to get this stream taken down while I stream this theory, which is I'm just going to keep the video small. If I keep the video small, then I'm probably fine, right? Right? Like, they won't cancel me over this. Right? Not cancel me. You know what? Whatever YouTube does. Take the stream down. Whatever they do. Copyright me. Okay, so let's see. You guys ready? We're reacting to this theory. Oda broke One Piece, giving Blackbeard this insane plan. And because I'm the one reacting, we're going to watch it at slightly increased speed. Because that's just the way that I do it. Alright?
Blackbeard has made huge moves in the story of One Piece.
You guys want caps, right? Because you guys just want people to follow. Because your brains don't move at the speed that mine does, which is actually 2 times faster, but I'm slowing it down. It'll be 1.5 times faster. Jack Mashiro says, Morj, do you think that Blackbeard really is 3 people? The 2 sisters thing is really interesting, and the fact that he doesn't sleep is really interesting.
Hancock's fruit is now in the interest of Blackbeard. Once again, Blackbeard has made huge moves in the story of One Piece. Boa Hancock's fruit is now in the interest of Blackbeard.
Sorry, this is just funny to me.
Blackbeard has made huge moves in the story of One Piece. Boa Hancock's fruit.
So, YouTube, I don't know if you guys can see this. YouTube, it makes up the captions itself, right? So sometimes I just like seeing the captions it makes up. So it calls Boa Hancock Paula Hancock. It's just funny to me. It's just like, Paula's just a funny name. All right. Paula Hancock. All right.
Is now in the interest of Blackbeard. Vegapunk's SSG has Lunarian-powered pacifistas, and Kobe has been captured by Blackbeard. Now that One
This is all true.
Piece Chapter 1059 is out, today's video...
Hey, wait a second. Time out. Look at the lighting of his videos. Look at the lighting of his videos. Right? Okay, how come you guys aren't mean to... Let me check his comments. Are people mean to him about his lighting? I don't see any comments about lighting. I guess this is spoilers for the video. I don't see any comments about lighting. Versus, if we go back to my videos, right? If we go back way... I don't know. How far back? Here?
I am acting is like think it through video before you.
When I had this lighting, look at this. When I had this lighting, you guys it was pink and blue. Sometimes it was green. Sometimes it was green. Sometimes it was. It wasn't always pink and blue. Fuck. What was the first video? I think around here.
No, see, hats a shows working hats.
Where's my face? There we go. Yeah, this doesn't look that good. Also, why am I so out of focus? Andrew Ayanami says the porn lighting. Hey, come on now. This is... it's Miami Vice. That's what the go-to response was for me back then. It's just like, Miami Vice. It's Miami Vice lighting. Leave me alone. It's not stripper lighting. Yeah, emotes and badges coming soon, guys. I swear to God. right around the corner. Maybe next stream. Nushix says, hey Morj, theory. Luffy's power-up, end of story, is Gomo, Rio, Zos have a will of their own, therefore Haki. He will draw it out and turn to a normal human. That's kind of weird. AJK says, I'm disappointed, Morj. You're a good guy, but why lie like this? You even sweared last week with a smile and straight face. Not even a discussion. Okay, is it a lie if I forget? I don't think that's the same thing. If I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, if I just forget, because I can say something last Monday and be like, partway through the stream and be like, I will definitely do this next time, right? And then, you know, it's an hour later, stream's over, I'm tired, I go to sleep. Week rolls around. Oh, it's Monday again. Time to stream. I open up the stream, and then I'm being accused of lying. I just forget. I just forget. All right. I just forgot. All right. I will read that theory and discuss it next stream. And this time, if I forget, you could call me a liar, because this is towards the end of the stream. I have time. I can make a note. I can read it after this. All right. Are we ready to go? All right. All right, so we're back to Evil with his porn lighting. No difference between this and this as far as I can tell.
Videos about chapter 1060 predictions, as well as the action, beauty, and lore of chapter 1059. And if you want more videos like this, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notification buttons to support me in the out.
Yeah, you guys can do that. You can like, subscribe, notifications, etc. I'm not going to do that personally, but do as I suggest, not as I do.
Algorithm.
That's nothing against Evil. I just don't do that. I just don't. At least not on my YouTube channel. Like on my personal stuff, I'll like and subscribe to people basically. But on YouTube, I need my feed unfiltered, etc. by things.
Capturing Kobe is major news that I consider to be a black swan event, an unpredictable event that is beyond what is normally expected of a situation. And
I actually didn't know this phrase. This is kind of that Mandela effect that I told you guys about earlier, right? A black swan. We're all learning new things, right? A black swan is an unpredictable event that is beyond what is normally expected of a situation and has potentially severe consequences. Like my car situation earlier, right? Undoubtedly a black swan event that you all chose to make light of. Can't make light of a black swan event. Black swan events are characterized by their extreme rarity. I don't have car problems that often. It's been some months. Severe impact. It did ruin my day. I was 20 minutes late to the stream, and the widespread insistence that they were obvious in hindsight. Widespread insistence. Were you guys all saying that it was obvious? I don't know. Does this apply to me? Maybe not the car situation that much. I like to think that my car situation was a black swan event, and you guys were just mean to me over a black swan event. Think about that. Who is the asshole now? Jacob Patino says Blackbeard's bounty went up 1.6 billion in the time of Act 1 and Act 2 before he went after Boa. Do you think the reason will connect with the cover story? No, that was surprising to me as well, why it just went up for no reason, but I think Oda's just in a phase where he's just amping up the bounties, basically. I think that's just... He just wants higher numbers because we're in the end game or whatever, so he's like, fuck it, these emperors are getting... He wants, like, Blackbeard... To keep the excitement, you know, you can't have, like, Law... you can't have Law and Kid... It's so ridiculous to even say this. Law and Kid running around with a bounty higher than Blackbeard. It would just be ludicrous. Right? You want the villain to have a higher bounty. So Blackbeard's got the second highest bounty in the story. Shanks still has the highest. I might have those mixed up. No, I think that's right. I'm pretty sure that's right. You know, and you still got Luffy below them. It's just to keep kind of the excitement of things, right? Fuck. The fact that Law and Kid passed up Blackbeard's bounty for doing a tiny fraction of the shit that Blackbeard did over the course of his career. And then Oda just bumped Blackbeard's bounty up basically for no reason, just to make sure it's higher than Law and Kid's. So why not just have Law and Kid's bounty be lower than Blackbeard's bounty in the first place? Or make Blackbeard's bounty higher? I don't know.
It has potentially severe consequences. A lot of people did not see this coming, and for good reason. A lot of people thought that Boa would defeat...
I should bring that lighting back.
...and has potentially severe consequences. A lot of people...
This is like the 18th week in a row. AJK, let me tell you something. So you think that I forget about... You think that... If you don't believe me when I say I forget about your theory, right? Let me explain it like this. These walls in the background have been white for what? Over a year now? You think I don't want to set stuff up in the back? You don't think I want to go on Thumbtack, hire a bunch of people to go set up the shelves and everything that needs to be set up back there? Huh? You think that when I tell you that I just have a very, 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 very fucking busy schedule and I forget a lot of things and certain things are just put off, right? And I have enough time in the week to squeeze in the time for things that I do need to do, such as writing One Piece scripts, etc., recording, blah, 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 all of that stuff. A lot of these more general things kind of, they fall by the wayside. Monitor I have now. Still got to set that up. Background, which I've been saying will be changed for a long time, will be changed soon. These are things, though, that are other things that slowly simply get forgotten. All right? Not even forgotten, just like the time to really structure and do them, etc. It just slips by. Okay? So, anyway. What am I missing here? Uchek says your mod is going through it right now. Good. They're going through a Black Swan event, huh? Not the proper use of that term, but probably going to throw it around a little bit. See if it kind of throw it at the wall, see if it ever sticks.
People did not see this coming, and for good reason. A lot of people thought that Boa would defeat Kobe, or Kobe would defeat Boa, or even me myself, where I thought they would form an alliance. Because Kobe is not only a good guy, but Luffy's friend and a sword member, wouldn't want to send Boa into slavery.
A lot of
but
people
clearly
thought
that was
that.
not the sequence of events that happened, and instead, Blackbeard showed up and captured Kobe. Now, one of the reasons he could be doing this is to drag out and...
Still really funny to me that all the theories were like either Kobe captures Boa or Kobe befriends Boa or something like that, but a lot of people thought Kobe's going to capture Boa. No, Kobe got captured. Who had that? Who had that down? I don't think anybody had that one. That's just like, that'll teach all the Kobe dick writers. I love Kobe as a character, but people who are like, oh yeah, Kobe should be like admiral level by this point or something are just ridiculous. Name says, Lord, will there be a vote for final emote winners? No, okay, so good news. Good news, everybody. We actually get way more emotes than I initially thought. So 5 is like the bare minimum, but as long as we get a certain number of members, and it's not even like a crazy high number of members, as long as we get a certain number of members, the amount of emotes you get is dictated by how many members you get to sign up, basically. So as long as we got a decent number of members, we get like double-digit emotes and stuff like that. So don't even stress about it. I think we need like, I don't know, look at the numbers later or something. But we'll be able to get all of the favorites and then some, so don't worry about that.
Draw out Luffy. Because now we know that Luffy has visited Zou, Whole Cake Island, and Wano. Luffy now has 3 road poneglyphs under his belt. It's only one more that Luffy needs until he goes to Laugh Tale and finds the One Piece. And then when we take a look at Fishman Island, which we know that at one point they had a road poneglyph there that went missing, it's highly probable that it went missing because Whitebeard hid it. It was stated by fact that Whitebeard was a protector, so it would make a lot of sense for him to move that poneglyph out of there to have Fishman Island be a much more...
I don't know why I paused it there, but yeah, that's a possibility.
And then fast forward, we see that Blackbeard ends up killing Whitebeard at Marineford War, and later goes on to have the payback war against Marco. When Marco says stuff like, we lost everything, I think that's alluding towards more than just islands and their captain, but
I mean, it could be.
something like a road poneglyph. Because you know, Blackbeard was on the Whitebeard pirate ship for many, many years. I believe 20 to 21, 22 years. Of course, Blackbeard would know about Whitebeard moving that road poneglyph, and even more, Whitebeard decided to hide it. So with that being said, Blackbeard has a high potential to already have the final road poneglyph, and he will go against Luffy, who has 3. For him to capture Kobe and basically wave him in the eyes of Luffy, he's saying, hey, Luffy, come to me, come fight me. It's time for the Battle of Pirate King. Or even something
hold on,
so that being said, Blackbeard has a high potential to already have the final road poneglyph, and he will go against Luffy, who has 3. For him to capture Kobe and basically...
Oh, I like that setup. I like that idea, because the big question is always like, is Blackbeard going to be fighting Luffy at Laugh Tale? Is it post Laugh Tale? Especially if you believe that One Piece is the destruction of the Red Line, then Luffy could potentially fight Blackbeard there at the Red Line or something like that as well. Do you think that Luffy and Blackbeard, that whole encounter happens even before Laugh Tale, right? So I like the idea that Evil's suggesting here, which is that it's pure, like, if Blackbeard has one of the poneglyphs, right? Luffy's got the other 3. Basically, whoever comes out on top of their clash has all of the pieces you need to get to One Piece, so it's the final pirates duel, I suppose, basically. I've always been of the opinion that Shanks has the last poneglyph, therefore Luffy defeats Shanks. Luffy has all 4. Blackbeard would probably, through some dirty means, be able to track it anyway and maybe meet Luffy at Laugh Tale, and they would fight over the actual treasure spot or something like that. But this sets up a similar scenario. You want pirates fighting over, you know, pirate treasure maps, treasure, stuff like that, right?
Wave him in the eyes of Luffy, he's saying, hey, Luffy, come to me, come fight me. It's time for the Battle of Pirate King. Or even something like Blackbeard utilizing Gecko Moria's fruit, the Kage Kage no Mi, to manipulate Kobe.
Hold on, there's like a lot of messages. Okay. I'm just making sure that nothing... Okay, never mind. I'm making sure AJK is not going actually drunk. I saw a bunch of bands, but I realized it's just one person. It's just Sherman Donahue or whatever. I was like, wait, is AJK going mad with power because of the theory situation?
In a shadow. Because we know in the past how Luffy and Kobe had this grand rivalry. Luffy the pirate, Kobe the marine. Kobe once said that
This grand rivalry. Don't know about that.
the next time they see each other, they will be enemies. So if Blackbeard is using Kobe to draw out Luffy and then even have Kobe fight Luffy, this would be very heartbreaking for Luffy, but it would also show that Oda is pretty good at foreshadowing. He had this whole, oh, we'll be enemies thing conclude in a very unconventional way.
But this did already happen at Marineford, so they did have that enemy moment. But
And another interesting possibility is that Garp actually gets drawn out. Seeing how Garp was training
that's
Kobe
fun.
for many years now, I would see that Garp could develop a relationship. Garp could have a love for Kobe, and after he lost Ace and Luffy went down the route of being a pirate while his father was a Revolutionary Army member, I could see Garp looking at Kobe as like a son he never had, someone that he's raising to be a full-fledged strong marine.
for the record, Garp could have easily been a father figure to Dragon, to Luffy, to Ace. He just chose not to. He kind of just ditched Luffy and Ace on an island and only showed up occasionally to put them through basically life-threatening trials to make them stronger. So it's not like Garp, there's nothing against evil, I'm just saying this out loud as a general thing, which is like Garp could have easily been a better parent or more connected to his offspring if he so chose.
So if he knows that Blackbeard is holding Kobe hostage, if he captured Kobe, this could draw out Garp. And I don't think that's necessarily why Blackbeard did it. I don't think he's trying to draw out Garp, but I could see this as like a random event, you know, a random circumstance that happens because of this domino effect. And I really hope this doesn't lead towards Garp being killed because I would love to see him live and, you know, reach the final war of the story. Garp, Dragon, Luffy working side by side to take on the world government and the Marines in the endgame seems spectacular to me. So, you know, Garp dying before that is almost like, to me, Shanks dying before he reunites with Luffy. But that's a totally different separate conversation. But all in all, I believe that Blackbeard's gonna use Kobe as a pawn to draw out Luffy. So now it turns out that Blackbeard also has been waiting to get Boa Hancock's fruit. So you know in the past when Blackbeard mentions that he's going to claim this prize before the Marines or whatever, it seems like he was referring to Boa Hancock.
Yeah, I never really thought that it'd be Boa's fruit, but you know, it's not something we predicted.
Fruit. To us, it seems like she had the Paramecia, the Mero no Mi, the love fruit, but clearly it must be something different. With Blackbeard having this never-ending trend of 3, it seems like he's gonna eventually have a 3rd devil fruit. But more importantly, he would have 1 Logia, 1 Paramecia, and 1 Zoan. For him to really target Boa Hancock's fruit, it makes me think that he wants it for himself and not for his crew. And then
would it even work with Blackbeard? She said it's tied to her beauty. Like, Blackbeard's not the best looking dude. I don't know if he'd be able to turn anyone to stone.
this would have to imply that her fruit is actually a Zoan. It could be the Hito no Mimaru Medusa or some kind of like Egyptian, Japanese, Malaysian, some kind of culture that I'm not yet aware of, but I'd be led to believe that it's Greek mythology Medusa. Now, even though I think he does want it for himself, that brings the question.
Oh, Evil's here in chat. This is the right theory. This is your most recent theory. I just want theories from like the most recent chapter. That's what I'm looking for. So people are saying that you had a good theory on coming out of 1059, so I'm enjoying it so far.
So like, what if it's not for himself? What if it's for the 10th Titanic Captain? And I know I have videos where I talk about Shiki possibly being the 10th Titanic Captain, or even Law being the 10th Titanic Captain, but those are just theories. We still don't know exactly who it is. So there could be some kind of woman in the One Piece world that's really beautiful, and he's trying to get that fruit for them to make his crew a true powerhouse against Luffy.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah, one of the reasons that I think that we haven't seen the final member of Blackbeard's crew yet is just because it could give too much of a tip off as to what Luffy's final crew member is, because it's kind of the way it goes is like you naturally want to set up matchups. You can kind of expect the crews to be evenly numbered at the end of the day. So it's like, even if we saw that the final member is a woman, it really, really adds fuel to the fire that Luffy's final crew member will be a woman as well. Stuff like that.
Luffy. But regardless, it seemed like he basically failed to get this fruit because the Dark King Rayleigh stopped the Man of Darkness, Blackbeard. Now that is an obvious pun, that's an obvious thing that Oda chose to do, which actually goes way back to the pre-time skip. But anyways, this begs the question, like, is Blackbeard gonna try again? Is he just gonna give up? It seems like he really wanted his devil fruit, so for him to be stopped by Rayleigh like this and just completely say, oh, fuck the fruit, forget about it, it seems a little weird. But then at the same time, like, trying to get it again seems a little off. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below if Blackbeard's gonna try to get the fruit again. And also in chapter 1059, we see that Blackbeard has a 3.9 billion bounty. This is beautiful to see as a Blackbeard fan, and honestly, I would want him to touch 4 billion or be higher by now, but it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. He's about to touch 4 billion, but this has me question, like, what did he do to deserve this bounty? Because it seems very evident that he had this bounty earned before this whole Boa situation. So he must have done something huge in between.
Oh, yeah, we were just talking about that. So what happened during the little jump where he kind of like boosted his bounty to like actually crazy levels. Like, similar to what the other Yonko had.
Between his 2.2 billion bounty and then his 3.9 billion bounty. And seeing how Buggy has some ties to Roxy Zebek with him but wanting to be king of the world, and it seems like Blackbeard inherited the will of Roxy Zebek, I'm wondering, like, what's the possibility that Blackbeard actually got Captain John's treasure? Now this could build some kind of interesting relationship between Blackbeard and Buggy, seeing how they both might have ties to Zebek, but that's just a theory. Another option is that Blackbeard actually managed to get one of the ancient weapons, Uranus most likely, and that the world government knows about it. All the way back to like Robin's flashback in Enies Lobby, the ancient weapons were such a big threat, and even you could argue back to Alabasta, ancient weapons have always been huge, it's been a staple in the story. So for Blackbeard to openly get his hands on it and not be a world government official, that would make him a huge threat, and that could justify why his bounty would go from 2.2 billion to 3.9 billion. And another super interesting point of 1059 is the fact that there's pacifistas with Lunarian DNA. Now, it seems like what they did was they got the Warlords at a young age, gave them giant DNA, gave them Lunarian DNA, which to me seems like they're cross-racing, cross-breeding giants and Lunarians. Maybe I'm misreading, but this could lead to other factions, other areas of SSG that do the same thing. Maybe we could see Mink plus Fishman, Mink plus Onis, Fishman plus Onis. We could see all kind of, they choose to have like a kid for. Wonder if there will be a Blackbeard one, maybe influencing the pacifistas. I don't know, but lie a whole bunch of things put together, whether it's Lunarians, Warlords, fulfill the position of the Warlords. Because this looks, it gets a 10 out of 10. Very nice.
Interesting part to me was the beginning section. I think obviously. Beginning section, obviously, where you're talking about like why actually did they capture Kobe, right? So if it is to lure Luffy out, that would be smart because Blackbeard likes his shortcuts, right? It's been discussed like Blackbeard capturing Kobe to lure Luffy out. That's been discussed, but I like the idea that you're filling in. Maybe it has to do specifically with the road poneglyphs, Blackbeard potentially already having one or being just a few poneglyphs away. And the idea that Blackbeard really likes his shortcuts, right? Across the course of the story, he likes to, if he can get a lot in one go, that's his thing, right? If he can, like, why spend time trying to accumulate a lot of strong crewmates when he could just put all of his eggs into getting the best of the best in one fell swoop out of Impel Down, right? If he could get the Yami Yami no Mi and the Gura Gura no Mi out of spending time on Whitebeard's ship, first by, coming across the Yami Yami no Mi, but then secondly by orchestrating Whitebeard's death so that he can get the Gura Gura no Mi as well, right? So he can get two really powerful fruits out of the same strategy of sticking with Whitebeard, right? Blackbeard likes to get a lot of bang for his buck. So, along those same lines, I wonder, was Blackbeard really searching for poneglyphs this entire time? Or was he kind of just thinking, let one of these other pirates get their hands on a couple poneglyphs, right? So right now, Kaido's only got one, Big Mom's only got one. Well, what if like 2 or 3 poneglyphs were accrued by one individual? Then I could just waltz over, take out that individual, and get like 3 poneglyphs for myself. That is a Blackbeard line of thinking, so I do like that idea that it's not just like, I want to beat Luffy to beat Luffy or whatever, like competition for Pride King or take out another Yonko. It's because Luffy did the dirty work of getting 3 out of the 4 poneglyphs. Now Blackbeard just hangs a little bit of bait in front of Luffy's face, lures him in, tries to get all 4 poneglyphs basically off of that, assuming, like you said, that he might have one. I still don't know if he'd have one, but that's an interesting idea. I like it. All right. We're going to dub this theory reaction, the first theory reaction on this channel, a success. I am the only person who gets to rate it, and I rate it a success. It has my stamp of approval as a theory reaction. Theory as well, obviously. I liked it. But more importantly, the theory reaction. I'm giving it an A. Not an A+. We can improve. We can still improve. Mostly on chat side. But I'm giving it an A overall. A successful theory reaction. I think more to come. I think generally if there's some sort of crazy chapter that comes out or something like that, it'll be fun to see what are the interesting ideas coming out of the One Piece community, I guess, post-chapter release or whatever. Like, this was one I was hoping. I think part of the problem is that, like, it's a bit too quick, though, because in terms of turnaround, like, between when I stream to when a chapter comes out, because people need their time. Like Randy was saying, he's got a juicy theory on the Rocky Port incident coming out, but it's not coming out till a little later this week. You guys can watch out for that, obviously. So maybe it's a bit too much to expect, oh, there'll be, like I'm happy Evil got something out that's good. But I was thinking like, oh, there'll be a shit ton of Seraphim theories running around on Monday or something along those lines. But, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, my own stuff's not out till tomorrow, and that's not even a theory. So, we'll see. All right. RS says rated 1 out of 2 monitors. Hey. That's hitting below the belt. You guys know I got some monitors lined up for you all. At least one more monitor. I just got to set it up. Okay. Good stuff, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Wait, let me just make sure I'm caught up on supers real quick. Don't want to miss anybody. Yeah, John Ross says, Blackbeard collects the cross-guild bounty for Kobe. Yeah, that's the other theory. I think that was the one that was kind of popular when the chapter first came out. I still like it. I think either way, if it's, like, there's 2 routes, right? So if Blackbeard if it's the route of the cross-guild, that's more of, like, a fun little plot line, right? Like, we get to see some fun interactions, Blackbeard potentially interacting with cross-guild. At the very least, Kobe, Alvida again, Kobe and Buggy's presence. I think that that's a route for more some fun interactions that we could potentially get. And then, that's I like that route a lot just because I just want to see it happen. I want to see the two Yonko empires essentially interact. I want to see Blackbeard and his squad interacting with, like, maybe we get a Mihawk Shiryu interaction. I just think the Crocodile Blackbeard talking again, that's fun for, like, the fanboy in me, right? Like, the part of me that just likes the outside world interaction segments of One Piece, right? I think we all like that to a decent degree. That's a big part of One Piece, right? Now, the other route, which is Blackbeard setting this up for Luffy. So the Crossgo route's the fun route, the really fun route. The Luffy route is kind of this is approaching one of the most important and maybe final conflicts of One Piece, and it's going to be very, 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 very serious and very, very dramatic and very intense. So even if that's not their final battle or something like that, it may be a first conflict between the two groups in a long time to set up for the subsequent final battle he has with Blackbeard or something like that, right? Like maybe a first encounter, first battle or something, then followed by another battle or something like that, right? As often happens throughout One Piece, you know? But it basically puts Luffy and it starts the Luffy-Blackbeard final showdown trajectory, essentially, if that's the direction it goes. So one is very intense, very dramatic, kind of end of story type stuff. One is the fun route. I'm going to say I prefer it's the fun route, because I don't want to see Kobe used as a damsel in distress, essentially, for Luffy to come save him, but I wouldn't mind, if that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't mind. I would prefer it's the other route, but it's also partly just because we just wrapped Wano, and that was like a very, you know, that's a more classic One Piece arc, fighting Yonko, etc., good guys versus bad guy part, etc. I want to linger in this outside realm just a little bit longer, where we're getting to see, you know, these other characters, right? The Mihawks, the Crocodiles, the Hancocks, the Rayleigh, etc., the Blackbeards. I want to see these groups of characters have more story time and more screen time with each other for just a little bit. Like, let's stay away, I'm hoping, from the next Luffy versus Yonko showdown for just a little bit longer. Not that we are not eventually going to get it, and I'm still looking forward to that, but I'm like, let's breathe for a little bit. Fahada Lead says, Morj, what is your religion? I think at this point I guess the lazy way you say it is agnostic. I'm not atheist, I think I'm agnostic. I think that's where I fall, right? Mr. Crescent says, what if Kobe stays captured by BB? 11th Titanic captain incoming? Kobe just changes his mind. I'm sure we'll see Kobe out of Blackbeard's hands by the final battle of the story, right? I don't think Kobe will be a captive necessarily during the final battle. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This was a fun stream. Again, highly successful theory reaction. What did we rate it? I think we all rated it an A+, if I remember. I'll temper it down. I'll say it was an A. It was an A. Again, purely rating my theory reaction, not rating the theory itself. Theory itself, good, solid, fun. I enjoyed reading it. Got my mind brewing. Thanks, Evil. But theory reaction.